Hi guys, it's our new video and today we're going to speak about JavaScript features. The following features are common to all confirming ECMAScript implementations unless explicitly specified otherwise. Imperative and structured. JavaScript supports much of the structured programming syntax from C. Uh, One partial exception is scoping. Originally, JavaScript only had function scoping with var. Then block scoping was added in ECMAScript in 2015, which with keywords let and const. Like C, JavaScript makes a distinct between expressions and statement. One syntax difference from C is automated semicolon insertion, which allow semicolons to be omitted. Or weakly typed. JavaScript is weakly typed. Uh, JavaScript is weakly typed, which means certain types are implicitly cast depending on the operation used. The binary plus operator casts open operands to a string unless both operands are numbers. This is because the additional operator doubles as a concatenation operator. The binary minus operator always casts both operands to a number. The binary minus operator always casts both operands to a number. Most unary operators plus minus always cast the operand to a number. Values are cast to strings like the following. Strings are left as GS, numbers are converted to the string representation. Arrays have their elements cast to string after which they are joined by commas. Their objects uh, are converted to be string. Object where object is the name of the constructor of the object. Values are cast to numbers by casting to strings and then casting the strings numbers. These processes can be modified by defining drawstring and value of functions on the prototype for string number casting representatively. JavaScript has received criticism for the way it implements these conversions, as the complexity of the rules can be mistaken or inconsistency. For example, when adding a number to a string, the number will be cast to a string before performing concatenation. But when subtracting a number from a string, the string is cast to a number before performing subtraction. Often also mentioned is like this is misleading, is interpreted as an empty code block instead of an empty object, and the empty array is cast to a number by the remaining unary plus operator. Dynamic typing. JavaScript is dynamically typed like most other scripting languages. A type is associated with a value rather than an expression. For example, a variable initially bound to a number may reassign to a string. JavaScript supports various ways to test the type of objects, including tag typing. Runtime evaluation. JavaScript includes an eval function that can execute statements provided as strings at runtime. Object-oriented, prototype-based. Prototypal inheritance in JavaScript is described by Douglas Crockford S. You may prototype objects and then make new instances. Objects are mutable in JavaScript, so we can augment the new instances giving them new fields and methods. These can then act as prototypes for even newer objects. We don't need classes to make lots of similar objects. Objects inherit from objects. What could be more object-related than that? In JavaScript, an object is an associate array augmented with a prototype. Each key provides the name for an object property, and there are two syntactical ways to specify such a name dot notation and bracelet notation. Appropriately may be added, rebound, or deleted at runtime. Most properties of an object, and any property that belongs to an object's prototype inheritance chain, can be enumerated using a for three dots in loop. Prototypes. JavaScript uses prototypes, where many other object-oriented languages use classes for inheritance. It's possible to simulate many classes-based features with prototypes in JavaScript. Uh, Functions as object constructors. Functions double as object constructors along with their typical role. Prefixing a function call with an u will create an instance of a prototype inheriting properties and methods from the constructor. ECMAS 5 offers the object create method. Object create method allowing explicit creation of an instance without automatically inheriting from the object prototype. Older environments can assign the prototype to null. The constructor's prototype property determines the object used for the new object's international prototype. Uh, New methods can be added by modifying new prototype of the function used as a constructor. JavaScript builds its constructors, such as array or object, also have prototypes that can be modified. While it's possible to modify the object prototype, is generally considered bad practice because most objects in JavaScript will inherit methods and properties from the object prototype, and they may not expect the prototype to be modified. Functions as methods. Unlike many object-oriented languages, there is no distinction between a function definition and a method definition. Rather, the distinction occurs during function calling, when a function is called as a method of an object. The function's local keyboard is bound to the object for that invocation. So that was all I wanted to tell you for now. Put your likes, subscribe to our channel, and that's all. Bye.